What's going on, my guys? Canelo Crawford did a interview with Dana White, Shaquille O'Neal, and Tom Brady. Somebody asked me to do a little reaction over it. Hopefully, we don't get hit with a strike. But without further ado, I want to get into it. Let's talk about it. Let's make sure our audio is actually equipped for you guys to hear it pretty well. Well, this should be good right here, actually. Yep. Let's get into it.
Let's go to the future. How would you like this fight to end? I need it play by play. How would you like this fight to end? And after your answers, I need you to answer. How would you like this fight to end?
Well, I won't say like to. It will end with my hand rose, making history.
I like that answer, but talk some shit, bud.
Listen. You
It's hard for me to really take Bud's words and really take him serious. He said he had a 70% chance to win the fight. I don't know why he gave Canelo a 30. If you're really training your butt off and putting in the hours into becoming three-time undisputed, there should be a 100% chance you win. Now he's saying it will end. That's the only way it will end. He didn't say he would like for it to end this way. It will end this way. So which one is it? I feel like he's trying to oversell the fight, man. Does Canelo have a 30% chance, or are you gonna win? You said you will. I don't know. Terrence Crawford, I don't know, man. He's really interesting right now. He's somewhere he's never been, and I don't believe he knows how to act, man.
I might be the smaller fighter, but Canelo can testify to this. He went up against bigger fighters and been victorious. So all that smaller fighter and I'm the bigger fighter, that goes out the window when you got skills. But Canelo, he's a tremendous fighter. He's got the skills, the experience, the power. He got everything. That's why it's so intriguing. Everybody want to know, can Terrence Crawford take Canelo power? Can Terrence Crawford deal with Canelo pressure? Can Terrence Crawford deal with Canelo's body attack and his experience? And that's why everybody want to see it, because they know how great Terrence Crawford is, but they don't know how great Terrence Crawford is at 168. We know what Canelo brings to the table, but nobody knows what Terrence Crawford is bringing to the table at 168. And that's why the fight is going to be so intriguing. I never thought in a million years of me fighting Canelo. Never, watching him at.
You know why? Because when the question was brought up to him in 2023 and 2024, he didn't believe he could beat Canelo. He said it on record. He said 154 would probably be my cap. I don't think at 168, Canelo's too large. I'm not interested in the fight. So he didn't believe he could beat Canelo. That's why the fight never really interested him. That's why he never really looked too deep into it until, the financial aspects came into play. I believe that's when Crawford took the fight. But in my opinion, he never believed he could beat Canelo until the numbers were written on the paper.
As he coming up, and rise, and me at a smaller weight class, it was never a thought of fighting him. But as I got bigger and as, the great fighters started retiring, Canelo's the last great. Terrence Crawford the last great. So why not make it a super great fight? That's why I chose Canelo.
I love you both, but you still did not answer the question. How do you see this fight ending?
I told you.
Don't say with your hands.
I'm
knock
going.
out. Knock him out the ring.
Listen. I never say how a fight gonna end. If you watch Terrence Crawford's whole career, I never came and predicted I was gonna knock somebody out or I was gonna do this. But every time I did say something, I said I was gonna win, and I'm saying that right now. I'm gonna win.
All right, Canelo, how do you see this fight ending? And let me hear your prediction. In American and in Spanish.
I'm gonna win.
Spanish first.
¿Ah?
In Spanish first.
Voy a ganar.
¿Verdad?
Voy a ganar. Esa es la idea, ganar. That's the idea. Always in my mind doesn't exist a loss. I train, I put my best, I dedicate myself to this sport, and I'm just thinking about win, to make history, and this is no deception.
I'm a fan of both of you guys. Listen to what you say. You said Bud only had one big fight in his career. Do you really feel that way?
You know what? If you look,
That's a fact. I'll speak for Canelo on that one. That's a fact. Terrence Crawford's had one big fight. That was an undisputed fight with Arrow. Outside of that, they never really fought a amazing fighter. Never really had another big fight. That's just my opinion. I think that's the factual opinion. I think that's what we should all agree on.
Look at his career. Don't get me wrong. Okay, he's a good fighter, a great fighter. I always say before I see him calling me out and won the fight and everything. I see before. I say before he's a great fighter. But if you look at his career, mention one elite fighter. Just mention me one elite fighter.
So Postal wasn't elite?
No.
Who?
Victor Postal.
Who's
Stop saying his name, but he's not.
that guy?
Oh, so he wasn't commercialized. He wasn't.
Who's
he
that
wasn't a
Postal?
great.
No, Victor Postal wasn't elite if he was on every damn billboard from Los Angeles to New York City. I don't give a damn about commercialized. Victor Postal isn't elite.
Ricky Burns wasn't elite.
No.
What? 40 years old champion in that moment beat Mr. Postal in my gym. I saw that.
So Ricky Burns wasn't elite.
Bud, come on, man. No. Ricky Burns, Victor Postal? But if you are considering these guys elite, I don't know what you're considering Canelo. Please, bud. You come on, dog.
Ricky Bones doesn't elite.
Okay,
He's not elite.
It's cool. Well,
Is there a champion?
I'm going to fight another elite
There is
fighter
a
in
champions,
September.
good fighters, but elite fighters is different.
So-
Wait.
So I'm gonna
different.
fight an elite fighter in September.
Yeah. Okay.
Then
we're
gonna see.
gonna find out.
Then we're gonna
We're
find
gonna find
out.
out.
Then we're gonna
And
find
don't
out.
get me wrong, you're a great fighter.
I know I'm great.
You're a great
You ain't
fighter.
gotta
But
tell
are
me
you
I'm
gonna
great.
find out? I hope
But I'm talking about
your
elite.
uncle Turki Alashi pay you enough money because it's gonna be the last. That's
It
for
may-
Canelo's cooking him in English, which is really funny. And what if you guys couldn't really hear him? It was a bit chopped right there, but he said, "I hope your uncle." He's taking shots at him. Turki Al-Sheikh is heavily on Terrence Crawford's side. Terrence Crawford is Turkey's guy. I don't know why. They just have some type of bond connection. But he said, "I hope your uncle Turki Al-Sheikh pays you enough money because this will be your last fight." That is a threat. I think it will be Crawford's last fight. I think he will make enough money. But I'm expecting Canelo to break his face, put him into retirement.
Maybe. It may be. Maybe.
I hope he pay you enough.
But you know, after fighters fight me, they never the same. So I just hope
Yeah.
your career continue.
If you look
afterwards.
at my career, never same after me. They
But-
never same.
But if you had Canelo's resume, you think they would consider you an all-time great?
Canelo got a great resume. You know, I'm not gonna take it away from him. He's fought a lot of great champions, but you know, at the age that he fought him in, you know, you know, they was already on a decline.
But come on, dog. When you look at Canelo's body of work, we could start it off with Mosley Cotto. Yeah, Mosley Cotto was a bit older. You still got Austin Trout. He has the loss to Floyd Mayweather. He moves up. He fights Golovkin twice. Then you get Danny Jacobs. Moves up again, he moves up from 60 up to 75. He takes out a future Hall of Famer, Sergey Kovalev. Yes, Kovalev's a bit past it, but he jumped 2 divisions from 60 to 75. He goes into 68. He gets Callum Smith out of there for the unified titles. He breaks Billy Joe Saunders' eye socket. He's the first person ever to stop Caleb Plant. He moves on. He beats Jermell Charlo, who was on the pound for pound, jumping up 2 weight divisions like Crawford himself. But Charlo was a lot more decorated and accomplished at 54. So still a great win if we're saying Crawford's a great win. It still takes the risk with Bivol, right? I'm pretty sure I covered all his great. I mean, the Golovkin trilogy, he fought him one more time. I think that's pretty much all his great wins. You can't just say Canelo caught everybody on the downside, bro. He fought, yeah, for sure. You know, Miguel Cotto, Shane Mosley, were they at their best? No. But he still caught a lot of great guys at a great time. And a lot of people say, oh, well, Golovkin was here. Golovkin was number 1 pound for pound. Look it up. Look up the Ring Magazine pound for pound throughout the years. Go to 2018 of, I want to say August. He was number 1 pound for pound. Canelo took the throne off of him. So I don't care about Golovkin's age. He was the best on the planet at the time.
And some of them, and when he didn't, you see what happened. He fought Laura, and I thought
He beat Lar, arguably a future Hall of Famer as well.
Laura beat him. He fought, Mayweather. You see what happened. He fought Bivol when he went up and tried to be great like I'm doing, and he came up short. When he fought my boy from Texas, they gave him problems, but it is what it is.
Now, I seen this clip on TikTok. I don't know who he's talking about from Texas. Maybe Charlo. I want to say he's talking about Charlo. I heard Austin Trout was from Texas. I don't know. I don't know who he's talking about. I think he is talking about Charlo because he said my boy. I don't think he wanted to drop his name. Charlo did not give Canelo problems. But yes, Floyd, Lara, Bevo for sure.
The style, I got the skills, I got the heart, and I'm not going to sit around and, play no games with Canelo, because he's not going to play no games with me. And it's going to be a good fight. And I'm excited. I'm excited.
Always wanted to ask a fighter this. The matchup is taking place. How long do you hold that animosity? Does it, like, if it's announced in November, are you keeping that animosity in November, or do you chill out like a week, or does it start when you enter into training camp?
It's no animosity towards Canelo at all. I'm a fan of Canelo. I've been watching him for a long time, and for me it's just business, but it's the competitive nature in me to like get like right now, like I'm just ready. I'm ready to go train and just prove the world wrong. Like I've been doing my whole career. All the doubters and the naysayers and the people that think I can't accomplish what I set my sights on to do. And I don't know about Canelo, but I know come fight time, he gonna be in a fight that, he wasn't gonna be expecting.
For both of you guys, where does this fight rank in your careers?
It's gonna be one of the best fights in my career for sure. Like I say, he's a good fighter. He's gonna be one of the biggest fights in my career for sure.
This is the biggest fight of my career. We all know that. It's no secret. I'm fighting a Hall of Famer, one of the best Mexican fighters that come out of Mexico. So the respect is there. And I understand the magnitude of the fight, and I'm gonna give my all.
So with 6 months to go, like with the training, when does that really pick up and you guys really get to work? I know you got a fight before that, Canelo. What about for you, Bud? When's that?
Well, right now,
when's the hardcore training start?
Well, right now, I'm not training hard. I'm not even training, really. I don't want to overtrain because me personally, when I go in the gym, I give my all, and I don't want to burn myself out. I want to save it all for the fight. So I'm just, chilling, doing a little strength work here and there. But other than that, my training haven't even started yet.
Yeah. What about for you, Canelo?
Training.
You're training right now?
The 6 months. I have a fight in May, and then after that, I'm gonna maybe rest like a week and then start training again for September. Focus on what I'm doing right now. Obviously, I'm focused 100%.
Now, this is a bit worrisome, but like, I don't know. He said after the Skull fight, which were far past. Now, this was recorded, I'm assuming, way before the Skull fight, but week rest and straight into training until September. I mean, Canelo, he could burn himself out. I think Bud Crawford actually does make a good point, make a good case here. Canelo could burn himself out. A 4-month camp. I know it's not going to be high intensity. Yeah, that's physically impossible to do, just a 4-month high intensity camp, but that is interesting. That is an interesting approach from both men on this fight. I got to be honest.
100% on May because I need to take care about the fight first, and then to this happen, right? And then I need to take care about that fight and training, focus on my path.
But we know your chin is battle tested, but mostly at 147. How you think you're going to handle when he starts wielding those 10-ounce cinder blocks?
We don't know. That's the you know the thing that excite everybody. We seen Terrence Crawford hurt.
We don't know. I'm not going to act like I do know. More than likely, if I had to be honest with you guys, if Canelo lands the shots he typically lands on opponents, I don't like Terrence Crawford's reaction. I don't like the way he's going to handle it. Now, I don't think Terrence Crawford is planning on getting hit flush with most of Canelo's shots. I don't think he's planning on exchanging and going blow for blow with Canelo, which is a part of which makes him so great, which makes Crawford so great. He's a hybrid fighter. He could be a pure counter puncher. He could be a pure boxer puncher. So I don't think he's gonna be a boxer puncher too much in this fight. I think he's gonna be more patient on the ropes, looking for that big shot. But handling Canelo's power, like that left hook that dropped Berlanga, man, I don't think Terrence Crawford gets up from that one. I don't think he gets up from that one, man. That's a flush left hook on the jaw that floored a 200-pound Berlanga. I don't like Crawford's odds on taking Canelo's power. I got to be honest.
With Gamboa, we seen Terrence Crawford stun a little bit against Mean Machine. They would say, we don't know. That's why we fight the fight. We all want to see, Do I think I can take it? Yes. Have I been in the ring with bigger fighters sparring my whole life? Yes. But have I been in the ring with a Canelo-type fighter? No. That's why we want to watch the fight. That's why we all want to see how great is Terrence Crawford. How great can Terrence Crawford take Canelo punch? That's what we want to see it for. That's what makes it so exciting and intriguing, because you got people on this side saying Terrence Crawford is too small. He can't take Terrence Crawford power. But then you got people on this side saying, oh, well, Canelo is going to have a problem with Terrence Crawford boxing. So that's why we want to fight and make it an interesting fight.
I don't think in that way, because I'm in his position before, moving up in way, and at the end of the day, when you have skills, you don't need much power to handle that, right? And in his position, and I think I know what is he's thinking, and that's the excited part, right? You wanna see two fighters doing the same thing in their career, like moving up in way and try to accomplish the best, and that's why it's one of the best fights out there, Terrence Crawford, with Terrence Crawford, because we both try to be great.
And do you think fighting the 4-pound smaller king does more for your career than facing the bigger, menacing Mexican monster and David Benavidez?
I talked about this yesterday with one of my boys. Benavidez is the tougher fight for Canelo. I have Canelo losing to Benavidez. I don't like Benavidez too much. You guys know I like Canelo. I'm pretty fond of Canelo's career. Benavidez is the tougher fight. Crawford does more for his career. And it all comes down to Crawford's more established, right? Benavidez is young, and he hasn't really made his splash or mark onto boxing quite yet, especially to the magnitude of a Terrence Crawford, right? Terrence Crawford is a top 20 fighter of all time, in my opinion. He's 4-division, 2-time undisputed. That's big. That's big stuff. David Benavidez is a two-division champion. I don't know how many times he defended his WBC title at 68. He's an email at 75. Like, right now, I think Benavidez is the tougher fight. But the way people are giving Crawford such a chance at winning this fight, and Crawford being so high on the pound for pound, I think Crawford does more for his career now. I think it does more for his career in the long run. When we look back and we see Terrence Crawford and his only loss is going to take us directly to Canelo Alvarez. Like I said, Benavidez is great. I think he beats Canelo. I think that would be more impressive in my eyes, just being able to take down a fighter that large. But at the end of the day, we still don't know how great Benavidez is, right? Benavidez could lose to Canelo and then go on to lose his next 20 fights and we'll be like, okay, he was never that great. If Crawford loses to Canelo and loses his next 20, you can't take away what he did before he fought Canelo. He was still a great fighter, right? I hope that makes a lot of sense to you guys.
Do you think this fight does more for your career than fighting David Benavidez?
You can see the career of Terence Crawford Benavidez. Terence Crawford is undisputed champion in 2 weight classes, many championship fights. So he bring me something to the table. He bring me something to the table for my history, and that's all about.
Obviously, all of us at this round table are considered GOATs. Dan, I'm going to start with you. What does the greatest of all time mean to you?
The greatest of all time is a person who has put in the work throughout their entire career, and they've done everything. They've done it all, fought everybody, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Tom, any last words?
Yeah, look, I've been a fan of boxing a long time, and I'm a big fan of Dana, a big fan of Shaq, and obviously Canelo and Bud and what they've done in their career. And I think from someone who's been involved in big events, there's nothing better than having the best meet the best. And then when you see these two guys, how they performed over the course of their entire career, and it's always about what the next challenge is. You know, they don't look back and think, this is what I've accomplished in the past. They're thinking, what's ahead? And like that, to me, is what's most exciting about this event. It's going to be in Raiders Stadium, the greatest stadium in the United States. And we're going to see two of the greatest fighters in history go at it. What more could you ask than that?
Any last words, Canelo?
No, I'm just glad to be involved in these kind of fights, always on my whole career, and this is one more for me, and I'm glad to share the ring with one of the best out there.
Bud, the mic is yours.
Well, I'm gonna just say, I wish you luck in your May fight. Hope everything goes well, no injuries, everything goes smooth. It's gonna be an honor to share the ring with you. I'm looking forward to it. And September 13th, we're gonna make history, and it's gonna be a mega event.
Well, you heard it here, September 13th.
Okay, just to touch on Bud's closing statement, right? Kind of always conflicted with that, right? And I talked about that in my video the other day. Terence Crawford is he's kind of too in and out for me. Do you respect Canelo or do you not? Right? I believe Bud's never been here, and I think he doesn't know how to act. He feels like sometimes he's underselling, sometimes he's overselling. Like right here, he's like, I wish you luck. It's going to be an honor. We're both going to make history. Both of us are making history. This isn't me beating you. I'm making history. He's kind of on the fence about it. No matter what happens, I'm glad to be here. Something's great going to come out of this fight. But then you could find him on record also saying this fight won't be close. It'll be dominant, masterclass. You know, he gets in Canelo's face. He kind of is the aggressor towards Canelo. I don't know, man. Terence Crawford's approach to this whole fight, the build-up of it, it's a bit interesting. I think he is a bit nervous. I think he is in foreign territory. He's never been on such a grand stage. He's never fought such a great fighter. I think he needs to settle into the pressure quite a bit. I think he still looks a little wet behind the ears right now, man. I got to be honest. I want to see how he deals with this as the pressers and interviews go on up until the first bell of the first round. I really want to see how Crawford adjust. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Hopefully we don't get a strike. Right, I'm gonna try to chop it up as much as I can. Hopefully we don't get a strike. But you guys let me know how y'all feel about it. I hope to see you guys in the next one.